You've heard the parable that Jesus told in Luke chapter 6 about the man who built his house upon the sand or upon the rock. I want to point out something to you in that parable in verse 49. In the King James, it says, "But he that heareth and doeth not." Doeth not. That phrase got me today. In the New American Standard Version, it says, "But the one who has heard and has not acted accordingly." Well, I got my Amplified. My Amplified says, "But he who merely hears and does not practice my words is like a man who built a house on the ground without a foundation." Now, I looked it up in the Strongs because you know how I am about the Strongs. Doeth not. In the Strongs, it's like doing it without delay, to execute, to observe, to perform. Not is never, without. When you don't do the words of Jesus, you are, okay, I'm just going to say it this way, you're foolish. Because if you don't do what Jesus said, then you're like a man who built his house on sand. Now, if you've ever been to a beach, like Galveston or Freeport, or I'm from Texas, so those are the beaches that I know. But there's beaches on the East Coast, there's beaches on the West Coast, there's beaches, pick a country, there's beaches around most of them, even if it's Lake Michigan, okay? Beaches can be pretty sandy. You try to build a house on that sand, let's say at Lake Michigan, just for fun, and the waves start coming in, and the waves start coming in, and the waves are coming in. And when waves come in, they catch a little bit of sand and wash it out. And they come in, and they catch some more sand and wash it out. And what's going to happen to anything you build on that sand? Let's say you built a sandcastle. That sandcastle, is going to wash away. The point of this story is, if you hear the words of Jesus and you don't do them, your life is going to fall apart. If you listen to what Jesus said, if you take the words of the book and put them into practice, you've got a solid foundation and you're going to stand. Even in the tough times, you're going to stand and you're going to make it through. Ask me how I know. I've been through some tough times. I've told you about them. Recently divorced. Daughter took her own life. Daughters, well, we're not going to talk about my daughters. I got an awesome son. Have I mentioned that? But the point is, I went through some tough times, but I didn't fall. I didn't give up. I didn't walk away from God. Why? Because my life is built on this book. And when your life is built on what this book says, when you are in communication with the creator of everything, you think he can't hold you up in tough times? He can. He will hold you up in tough times. So if you're going through a tough time right now, I want to encourage you to grab a hold of Jesus, grab a hold of the Word of God, and hang on and do what he says. Do what the book says. You will be on a foundation of a rock and you will not fall.